could you not know all along that Stormfront was a Nazi?
Well, I am just a man who fell for the wrong woman.
But
out of crisis comes change.
Crisis
Out of crisis comes last year. So I spent the last year really slowing down and reconnecting with myself. And I am very excited for everyone to meet the real me.
Roughly 1 year after the Compound 5 scandal, Vought International and the Seven have fallen back in favor with the public, and life has returned to normal. As everyone gathers to attend the world premiere of Vought's latest blockbuster superhero movie, even old rivals remain civil in front of the camera. With their political feud seemingly settled, Congresswoman Victoria Newman, who runs the new Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, shares pleasantries with Vought's CEO, Stan Edgar. Even Hughie, Starlight, and A-Train ham it up for the paparazzi, while Homelander deals with constant interviews about his previous relationship with Stormfront. Interestingly, Butcher and the rest of the boys continue to investigate and hunt problematic Supes, but now work under Victoria Newman at the Bureau, with Hughie acting as the group's handler. The night of the movie premiere, Frenchie, Kimiko, and Butcher prove their efficiency by subduing a deviant, shrinking Supe named 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐿. The next day, Starlight and Hughie, who are now in a public relationship, enjoy an intimate morning before heading off to work. At the Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, Hughie encounters an anxious man named Tony, who claims that he is best friends with Congresswoman Newman, although he suspiciously refers to her as Nadia. At the same time, Butcher travels to a safe house and visits Ryan, who has been experiencing more nightmares of his father, Homelander. As he leaves, Grace Mallory thanks Butcher for his recent string of good behavior and suggests that Butcher retire from herding Supes and raise Ryan as his son instead. Meanwhile, Homelander runs into the Deep before a talk show interview. While the Deep celebrates the success of his new tell-all memoir, Homelander struggles to contain his jealousy. Meanwhile, Marvin, aka Mother's Milk, tries to remain positive while attending a birthday party for his 10-year-old daughter, Janine. Much to Marvin's displeasure, his ex-wife Monique is now dating another man named Todd. After learning that 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐿 will be sent to a rehabilitation center rather than a prison, Butcher lashes out at Hughie and the pair argue. Ultimately, Hughie tells Butcher that his anger is misplaced and that he's only upset because he and Mother's Milk left the group. Echoing Mallory's sentiment, he suggests that it might be time for Butcher to throw in the towel. At Vought Tower, Stan Edgar meets with presidential candidate Robert Singer and shows him a new prototype military enhancer called V-24. Once perfected, V-24 would give a soldier temporary superpowers for 24 hours. Although Robert dismisses the idea almost entirely, Stan doubles down, claiming that Vought wants to get out of the superhero business and pivot to pharmaceuticals. In a separate meeting, Stan proposes that Starlight become the co-captain of the Seven, in an effort to improve Homelander's low public approval rating. Later, Hughie visits Starlight on the set of American Hero, a reality show where superhero contestants compete to become the next member of the Seven. One of Starlight's ex-boyfriends, Supersonic, is a finalist on the show, and Hughie is visibly uncomfortable with their closeness. When Starlight tells Hughie about the promotion opportunity, he advises her against it, worried that it will only put her in more danger. Despite this, Starlight accepts the job and is officially crowned co-captain of the Seven, much to the displeasure of Homelander. When he takes out his anger on A-Train in the hallway, Maeve texts Billy Butcher for help. Afterward, Homelander visits Stormfront, who is still alive but horribly burned and disfigured. When Stormfront continues to preach her bigoted hopes for the future, Homelander leaves, bored and apathetic. Meeting up with Butcher, Maeve hands over a confidential file on Soldier Boy, America's first superhero. The file mentions a secret weapon called BCL Red, which was used to kill Soldier Boy, and Maeve hopes that they can find it and use it to kill Homelander. Directing Butcher to locate and interrogate members of Payback, Soldier Boy's old superhero team, Maeve gives him 3 stolen vials of V-24 for protection. Later that night, Homelander shows up at Butcher's apartment, demanding information on Ryan's whereabouts. When Butcher refuses to give up the details, Homelander challenges him to a poetic fight to the death at some point in the near future, and they both agree. As he leaves work at the Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, Hughie notices Tony tailing Congresswoman Newman, and he follows them down an alley. As Hughie watches on, Tony tells Newman that she should use her position of power to tell the world about a place called Red River. Surprisingly, she agrees, and they embrace. But Tony pushes her back with superpowers. After a bloody scuffle, Newman uses her powers to kill Tony, and visibly upset, she calls for a cleanup crew to get rid of the evidence. Cowering behind a dumpster, Hughie realizes that he's once again stumbled into a massive conspiracy.